Are you looking at purchasing a rental property here in Calgary in the coming years or maybe months? Well, there are 3 common mistakes that are made or overlooked when buying a property, a rental property in Calgary, that we're going to talk about today right after this. Hey everybody, my name is Jared Chamberlain and I am here in our studios today, and we're talking about a topic that, man, not everyone does it, and that's purchasing rental properties. And there are a few things that you want to really consider and look at and not overlook when buying your rental property. Now, I know that, like you, if you're watching this, you may have already purchased property or you're considering buying your first rental. And coming from experience, we have bought rentals, we've owned rentals for years, for decades. And not decades, plural, decade plus. How's that? We've been doing rentals, 14, 15 years we've had some of our rental properties. And it's been really interesting in looking backwards and kind of saying, well, what are some three key things that we should have considered or looked at when we were buying rental properties? All right. And so with that said, you've probably heard the terms location, location, location. And that's like, well, those are the 3 top things: location, location, location. It's true. Location is super, super important because location helps you get all of these other things that we're going to talk about today. All right. Because where it's located is going to help you, basically win the day. But what is location going to help you with? It's going to help you with these 3 things. All right. The first one is cash flow. Cash flow is so important when it comes to having a rental property. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your mortgage. You can't pocket anything if you don't have cash flow. So when you're looking at a property, make sure you have a really good pro forma, basically a spreadsheet that you can run the numbers, get all of the real numbers from the seller, or create it. Maybe it's not a rental property before and you have to create the numbers, like what potentially could it rent for, all that kind of stuff. So here in our office, in our brokerage, we have a template pro forma that we actually have used personally on our rentals for years. And we have that available to you. So if you're working with one of our agents or you like access to that, we can connect you with one of our agents and help you with that for sure, because it's really important to analyze your numbers, know your numbers, and cash flow is king. All right. Number 2, you want to be able to consider possible multiple streams of income. So what I mean by that is if you are buying a condo itself can have how many streams of income? There's your hint. You're not going to be able to have more than one stream of income. And what I mean by that is multiple people paying. So if you have a house that has a basement suite, you've doubled your streams of income. If you have a house that has a basement suite and maybe there's a garage and you rent the garage separately to one of the tenants or maybe someone for storage, now you're up to 3. You just don't give the garage to the tenants, right? So now you want to find a place that can have multiple streams of income. Another way to think of that, and this has become a lot more popular, is in Airbnbs. Airbnbs, instead of having a single tenant as your stream of income, maybe you end up having a condo that used to have one stream of income. And maybe you end up, just for ease of sake of numbers, you end up having 4 people stay there for that month. The nightly rate is a lot higher than it would be if it was a monthly rental. That could also be considered multiple streams of income. Something to think about. It's just throwing that out there, all right? And then the third thing that's really, really important is your tenant profile. So like I said at the very beginning, location, location, location is really, really important because the location of your home, of the condo, of the rental, of the property is going to most likely determine your cash flow, how many streams of income you can have, and your tenant profile. So what I mean by tenant profile, who are you renting to? Who do you want to work with? These are your clients. These are people you got to take care about. You have to care for them. They're going to feel it. You're entering into a relationship. You are a service to them. They're not basically living there so that you can become wealthy. This is a service-based business that you are starting with that client who is your tenant. So you have to remember that. And so who do you want your client to be? Who do you want your tenant to be? This is really, really important. And I think a lot of investors overlook this because they get tied up with the cash flow numbers, the multiple streams of income, and they forget who is it that's going to be showing up, knocking on their door and wanting to be renting their home. So think through that. Do you want students? Do you want Airbnb? But inside of an Airbnb, do you want families? Do you want people who are traveling for business? Now that things are changing from after COVID, like what is it that you're wanting your tenant profile to be? Even as a renter, do you want it in a community where there is more chance of a family renting it from you than inner city or close to like university, let's say? There's tons of options in the city to have incredible rental properties that you got to consider. And so these are the three things. Again, cash flow, streams of income, and tenant profile. Location is going to help you with all of those, but make sure you focus on those three things. So if you have any questions about this, if you have any comments about this, put them in the comments below. And I encourage you, if you are watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe, like, and hit that notification on our channel, because we're always coming with good content and we'd love to hear from you. If you have some questions or video content that you would like us to produce, just put in the comments. We're always watching it. We're always aware of what's going on, and we would love to help answer questions for you. So that's what we got for today. I hope this has been helpful. Remember, location is important for buying a rental, and so is cash flow, streams of income, and the tenant profile that you're going to work with. All right, on that note, I am out, and we will see you guys on the other side. Adios.